Justice or injustice? If 100 people are in prison and one proves he is innocent, should he be released? Or should he have to stay in prison because others might come forward later and claim their innocence? If one taxpayer proves his property assessment is wrong, should his tax assessment be corrected? Or should he be forced to pay the overassessment because others might come forward later and claim their property is also overassessed?
Joe, do you ever ask for outside interests to come in and do some spot checks on values? Do you ever do that? I guess what I was really asking was, do we ever use a third-party disinterested, not city of Dickinson, not county, to do just some assessments on properties?
Outside of a full revaluation, we have not.
Chairman Elkin, members of the board, I'm Natalie Wandler, the tax director. I did attend the May 25th continuation meeting at the City Commission. They approved all values presented to them by Joe, the city assessor, except made one residential change, and they changed that value to the presented value on the appraisal submitted by the owner. Joe did what the commission suggested and came back with the values on the spreadsheet labeled value after inspection. The City Board of Equalization placed additional weight on these new findings. On Carlos's property, there was 3 properties that were lowered, 1 that went up. The City Board approved the new values. If we take the recommendation of the City Board, that leaves a lot of property owners that can come in and file an abatement because Carlos got a reduction.
I did a SWOT analysis for the Board of Equalization, and that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Weaknesses of the Board of Equalization. You know, the board has the discretion to adjust values requested by the owner. Opportunities is the chance to make the assessed value more representative of the current market. That's what the Board of Equalization can do. You know, we're going back 3 years. We don't like that. We want to set the value to what today's value would be. So that is an opportunity. The threat of doing that is, in my opinion, it opens the city and the county up to threats of arbitrary and capricious valuations. If the action of the board is to adjust one property based off of, all right, this is what the appraisal value was, then how does other property owners how are they not able to bring an appraisal forward and receive the same treatment? Which, moving on to mass property appraisal, pros and our consistent valuation. Con to that is you have outliers present even in statistically accurate models. I don't like to say it all comes out in the wash. I mean, that's not necessarily fair to the taxpayer when times are lean, but I mean, that just kind of works that way.
Based on the city letterhead dated June 4th, the following is a summary of the sales ratio and da-da-da-da-da. Is that number correct, Joe? That's not what the city sent us. The city didn't send us anything for changes. They sent us this as their tax roll.
Well, to clarify,
I assumed it was already in the report.
Chairman Elkin, Commissioner Zander, to clarify, if you would, we'll double check the numbers.
I thought I did it
Okay.
right. Why isn't a member of the Dickinson City Commission not here to answer our questions in regards to what they are doing? Are you representing them? I don't like doing their dirty work, that's all.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I've always represented the city here. I gave you my recommendation just like I presented it exactly to them. I don't know why they made the decision that they did. I didn't directly invite them along, and I don't know if that has something to play with it or not. But there is that common sense factor, if you will, with Century Apartments. But then what do you do with the other large complexes, Sierra Ridge and all of those? They will all be back, and they won't, they'll be asking for the same thing.
But in the end, isn't the point to be close to what it's worth? Not what, I mean, do we want to assess something for double its worth?
It doesn't fucking matter.
The law is clear that every property owner has the right to have his property listed on the tax rolls at its true and full fair market value. The correction of an individual assessment error should not be dependent on if other errors in the assessments exist or do not exist.